Thank you again for coming back and watching my videos. I really hope you like my previous videos and whatnot. I am taking some video. I am thinking of videos along the way. Not too much of a structure of this is what you need to do, but just as parts my way through everything. I just think of things that maybe might be useful to people. Some people might already are familiar with this. Some people might have it might be new for them. So, um, what tools we're gonna need to have is I'm running a Blender 4.2 under the Sollumz 2.4.2. I will show you. So we go up and edit, go to preferences, and I'm gonna just type in Sollumz here, and it's 2.4.2 for RDR there. We're not going to need this right now at the second. However, what I want to talk about is earlier we were going over some information for props and whatnot. So another tool you got to make sure you have is your codex and the codex explorer. I'm running out of codex 28. I also have 27 and I believe other versions, but most times I work out codex 28. I have no issues with the codex 28. Other people, I think they have some issues. I'm not 100% sure, but I seem to be working fine with the codex. So today what we're going to go over is actually two methods of doing some props. Earlier I actually showed a model which was actually a newsstand booth that I basically I was I downloaded from a source and I went and I did that. So a few things you can do this is that you can come in game and you can pretty much almost make anything a propped if you want. Now, some people make houses as propped. I don't really suggest making a house as a propped there. It kind of ruins the whole feel of MLO itself. But if that's your thing, you want to make any of these is a propped there. It's totally up to you. Now, the thing was that when I was working on, I'm gonna come over here, fly down here. Let me just slow my speed down. So I was working on these items inside here. This is actually from one of my packs that I sell. I have it up for sale for I believe around $10 or something like that. It contains about 10 props inside here. So we got a bunch of those. I can actually display and show those afterwards. But let's just say that you want to make your own props, right? So the thing is, you want to know that I'm going to come over here to that there. Now, things like this, there's no point of making that as a propped because that's already in a spooner to use and everything like that. So if I come over here to my RedM folder and I'm come open up Mumushi, right, and we can copy that wrong one. Make sure you copying the entity one, not the top one. And so at that point, we will then come over here, and if I search that, right, that's pretty much the item. So you just got to make sure, is this already part of the game? Is there a point of already making this as a propped, right? Maybe, I don't know, like, is this table a prop, right? So we can just come over here again Now, not everything will display and show inside of this website. I think there's another site that as well that shows you some more game assets there. But let's just say that, for example, that we're going to make this as a prompt, right? So I'm going to first off, where is my pivot point? Okay, so my pivot point looks like it's there. So that looks like it sets two items. We can go ahead. That's fine. We're going to grab that name, okay, and then from there we open up our Codex Explorer and we paste that name. We find that name. Now, if it's an YDR drawable, you're good to go. And you can open it and you can verify is everything to your liking, if that's the model there. So we're going to then come over and you are now going to find a location where you want to export this out. So I will then I'm just going to go in my props folder and I will then say create a new folder and we'll call this table. So I have a desk one, I have stairs, I got stoves, whatnot. You can use this for inside Spooner, or you can also use this with inside your MLO props there. So once you have oh, I already had a tables once apparently. Yeah, I already had one, so whatever. We can just then create here. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna create another new folder, and I'm just gonna call this XML. So meaning that this, and actually I can create another new folder inside here, and I will call this export. And I will create another folder later on. I will explain all this txt textures for my textures. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here to that file path there to XML. Make sure you can grab the full name here and then pasting that underneath at the same location. That was exported successfully. We can go ahead and close off and close that as well. Technically, we don't need codecs anymore, so we don't. We're gonna just close off that as well, and then we're going to open up our Blender 4.2.1 there. So you're gonna come up over here, and let's just start off with a blank canvas there, kind of. And give me a second. So we got our screen keys are on. All right, so it's a blank canvas. Let me control Z. So all I did is hit A to select all, X and delete. That pretty much deletes everything from your canvas. Now there's a way you can change it in your preferences what you want to load up in your canvas. I just never got around to doing that. So at this point, you're going to come over here to import, and you're going to scroll down to CodeWalker there. And then you're going to then locate that folder that you created. So I created a props and I created a table. All right, I'm gonna come up here to my XML folder, and I'm gonna here select importing this as a prop. So give it a few seconds. So when it first loads up, it's gonna basically come like there's no textures or anything like that. So you want to make sure you come over to your viewport shading. Give it a few seconds to render all those textures in. Now, again, things it may be missing some textures. At this point, you want to make sure also to come up and then save Save this somewhere that you know where to save it. Give it a name. Table with the bookcase. All right, so I know that I'm working with the table bookcase. All right, we save that. Now we can come up here to File, External Data, and then Find Missing Data. Because I saved it here, kind of knows where I am. I come up to my XML folder, and then I hit Find Missing Things. So now we pretty much removed everything in here. Now it's up to you. If you're good with this as exporting, you can export this as is. Now if you wanted to come into and start say that I didn't want this this knife, or that looks like it's an image that's actually on the texture. So you can just go into edit mode, and you can basically grab all that. So let's just come over here for a second, and you can hit select, and that basically selects the whole thing. There might be other pieces and other textures that are in there that thing. So let's I'm going to keep the knife. I like the knife. It's actually pretty cool looking there. So at this point, I'm going to come over to my tree model, and I can just give it a name. I can call it whatever I want. You want to expand that to the lower level. I'm just gonna call this OSG table cabinet. Yeah, so I'm just gonna call that as my table. Come up here to Sollumz. Make sure you are under RDR2. Make sure you're saving along the way. Come down to your drawable, create drawable objects, okay? And you want to make sure that you are setting this to your auto embed collisions. You are on on your name here, and you want to convert that. You'll see then that is expanded. We can get rid of the top one. Do not forget to get rid of that top, because when you try to export this, if I had left that and I try to export this, it will not work. Okay, so I'm going to just get rid of that. I'm going to hide my model, because at this point I'm going to now work off of my collisions, and I basically come over here. It's up to you what points you want to start off with. So sometimes I like to make sure I come over here to my flag presets, and I'm going to apply all flags to my BVH there. I come over here to my poly mesh. I'm going to check, is there any like modifiers? There are. So with the collision, you want to make sure you get rid of all the modifiers. And is there any UV maps? Yes, there are a few UV maps. We don't want that on our collisions. Any color attributes as well. We're going to get rid of all that, because we don't really need that. So then now we will just come over here to our textures, and then we're going to come and kind of have a glance. So I can unhide this for a second so I can see what type of textures, what kind of collisions that I am needing according to my textures. So we have a wood texture. So there is, we can do you can do medium, solid medium, or even actually a hollow. So I'm just going to do a medium solid. I look like I have some metal in there as well. So I'm going to do metal medium. Actually, we're gonna do two. We're gonna do a hollow, okay, and we are going to do a just a regular metal as well, just to kind of there. And you know what? We will also give another wood. Uh, you can put as many as you want. We're going to give that medium hollow as well. So once I figured out all my collisions, now I can come along and I can have a look, and I'm going to select that so I can see that there should look like it. Maybe should give it a metal hollow medium, and I'm going to assign that. Now this guy here will look like we have a wood and a metal, right? So earlier, like I was mentioning, if I select that, that's selecting the whole knife. Now I don't want this handle to have a metal textures. So I can do this in two ways. I can either come over here and I can just, what do you call that? Make sure, hide this for a second. If I'm not sure, did I miss anything? Yeah, I did. The underpass and this. So that is this is one way of doing it. Another way to kind of doing things is it's kind of hard to do with this model because I might end up selecting other parts of the model. I don't want to have that particular collision. So I think I am done. Just to verify, yeah, that looks pretty good. Whatever, we'll just come over here, just kind of like get your eyes to viewed around. Okay, so that looks good. So then I'm going to give that a metal medium. So this tin is more of a hollow tin. This particular knife there is now going to be a medium. Now if I click here, I select, that's only going to select my handle, right? So we're going to give that a medium solid as well. We select our table, we can give that medium solid there. We're probably gonna most likely take this and we'll give that a hollow medium and assign that. Now sometimes one thing actually which is cool, I will show that in a second, but first off, let's just remove all unused slots there. So remove all used slots. So it looks like there is still some textures that are around, right? So we're gonna select that and we can try to see where that is. So that's still looking like it's the same one as that. So I'm gonna hit assign. Let's just confirm that removed. Yep. And then it looks like there is this part right here. What is that? That is, I don't know what that is. Something to do with the floor. We'll just give that as a medium. Most likely that's going to be part of floor. It's okay. So we're going to give that a medium and assign that there. Okay, so going back to what I was about to say earlier is that I can actually isolate and I can change different colors. We're gonna say that, you know what, I want to have my metal as a green, and I want to have my medium, I can have that as a purple. Hollow, I can have that as a blue. And then we can like break it up into different colors. It doesn't matter the collision color, it's just more for your references only, just to kind of like kind of know what textures are, so it makes it easier. Make sure you're saving that along the way. All right, and then pretty much from there we are done. So we're gonna select the hierarchy tree here, and then we're gonna file and then exporting from there. I'm gonna come over into export folders, making sure I have my Y type checked as well, and hit export. Right. So then we also gonna make sure that we grab the textures as well. So I linked a tool called a tool from SevenLife here. So it's in the tools folder. I'm going to then come over here to my my folder path here, and I'm gonna hit select. And I'm gonna tell that that's the location where I want my textures are. You want to be under the model, not the collision, and you want to say then extract. So now that's successfully extracted all the textures for that model. And so at that point we can then come over here, and I will then come up, and I'm gonna just close these folders for a second. I don't care. Open the folder, and we're gonna come over here to say what do I have? I got a prop folder. I'm just gonna create a new folder called table, just whatever. Okay, inside that, I'm gonna also create another new folder called that stream. I'm going to then select that there. So actually, you know what? Sorry. Open folder. Let's go up to the props and then select that. There you go. So you have your stream folder and your tables. You then want to then import your exported model that you just exported from Blender. So locate your props there. So we're looking at today is the I believe that. Wait, hold on. Let me just confirm for a second. Export that. Let me just get the file path. I might have moved this somewhere else, or I might not be seeing it properly. So let's just quickly go to that path file there. So we have that, and then we're going to go here and make sure we have that as well. So we have our YDR. We import that. We can look at that showing up as white because all the textures are not embedded. Only the textures are right here. These are the textures are embedded, but these textures are not embedded, which is fine because at this point we don't care. I'm just going to come and grab the same name. I'm going to go into new, get a YTD, hit OK, and new as well, Y type. Okay, so we have those two. So we're gonna make sure we come over here to your YTD path here. You want to locate your folder that you just exported. So give me a second. It's just easier this way. Okay. Hold on. So there, this is all the textures I've exported. I'm going to select all those and then save that. You can save as, okay. And this is under your server. RedM props. Wrong server. Server tx data. That resources. I'm gonna go to my props table stream. Save that, and then I'm gonna hit yes to overwrite that. I then come back into my Y type. Your Y type will basically open up. Again, you want to make sure that you have the same name. So line pretty much 20, it has to match here. So we're gonna replace that. Save all that. Control A, Control C on that. Come back over here to my Codex Explorer. I'm gonna open up that. Control A and Control V. We're gonna just hit save. Okay, or we can just file save as and just make sure we overwrite that and we hit yes. Okay. Pretty much that is it that you can load into your game. So actually, you know what? Sorry, that is not it. All right. So we're going to earlier I mentioned about templates. So I have this template right here that I had saved. So we're gonna hit new, for example, save that. I can get rid of the template name. I can then type in OSG whatever. Like you can fill all this table. Okay. We're going to file, and we're not done. Let's just file save as. We're gonna then come over to our stream folder, and inside the stream folder locate your saved items or resources, and then props, and then tables. Okay. Shit. Hold on. I'll just put it there for now. I'll rename that in a second. So what I going to do is just rename this and come down here, rename that. There we go. All right. So you then can just refresh this, and there it is. Okay. You can grab your Y type name and just replace that, save that. Okay. At that point, you can then start up your server or restart your server or whatever you want. So let me just quickly do that. Okay, so once your server has restarted, you can then open up your spooner, come up into objects, and at this point we should now see that table basically thing. Okay, so for now, for some reason, I'm not sure that it did not load. Okay, so do I have that resource insured on my server? Now, for some reason, I think, yeah, I did not insure that resource. So make sure that you are ensuring those resources inside your resource CFG or your server CFG, however you want. So let me come and quickly get out a spooner. I'm going to actually start up
Buenos dias.
my props. a second. It's gonna freeze up for a second. So there we go. So now if I come over here and I then click on that, now we can see. All right, so as you can see, our pivot point is off, right? Like that is not good. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. All right. So coming back into our codex, okay, what we want to do is let's minimize this, minimize that. Okay, we're going to make sure you are on the move tool here, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to file select hierarchy. Okay, and then at this point, I'm going to then just move this to say roughly around. Move this a little higher if we want to as well. Let's see. Something like that. Okay, so don't forget when you are moving things around, you want to hit Control A and then apply all transforms, and then we can kind of and then see if we need to make any more adjustments. It kind of feels like it needs a little bit more, so roughly around here and there, this, and apply all transforms. So that kind of now makes it easier to think. So make sure you are selecting just what I do sometimes, not all the time, because I select hierarchy from here. I'm just gonna come and make sure that you're under your object properties, and you want to make sure that you're selecting everything, and you want to make sure all these must be zeros. These are ones is fine, but you want to just make sure everything is also set to 0. I'm gonna then select hierarchy again. I'm gonna come up here to file, export. I am still in my export folder, keeping your Y type checked, and you export that. Come back into your stream, your Codex Explorer. You're gonna right click and you're going to say importing that. So locate your exported folder, that table export, and then your YDR. And you also want to make sure that you open up your Y type again. So because numbers most likely did change within here, so you want to make sure that you have the newest updated changes in here. So make sure you set your name to what your object is. I just hit I save that. Come in here. Oh shit, wrong one. I clicked on the wrong thing. So come into that and paste that. So save, and then go ahead and restart your server. It's okay, whatever. You know that the collisions are working. Get on the items. It's what I was going to test was I was going to test this metal tin, kind of like get to see there. So another thing I wanted to do is basically show now some options to maybe use some outside source models. So we have a site called TurboSquid. We have a site called Sketchfab here. You can also then Google 3D models. Now, if you were looking for a particular 3D model, so let's just call it the table 3D model, right? Then, so as you can see, Sketchfabs comes up. We got this free 3D there, so we can basically come and look at this. Now, you're gonna see some items are going to maybe be paid items, so you may have to. It's up to you if you want to buy these items. I'm sure you can find these items or something similar to it for free. And again, it's up to you if you want to pay these the prices. Some can be as low as like be $1 to $5 and up to like $1,000. So we got this type of table here. If we wanted to do that, coming back over to this. So and some items might not be able to download at all. So say that I want to. That's pretty much the same table. So let's not do that table. Pretty sure the game has this type of table. So what you can do is then you're going to say download your 3D model. Now it depends on the site you go to. FBX works, some other formats as well. So I'm going to just download that as FBX there. And so at this point, let me just grab this, and we're going to come here to our desktop, and we're going to create this new, actually, no, not desktop. It's better to keep yourself organized, anything. So we are now going to do this. We're going to new table. I'm just gonna call that. Actually, I put in desk. I should have been there, but whatever. I should have extracted that. Okay, so we got that. So come over here to your Blender here. So I'm just gonna grab that path for a second, so I know what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to actually, you know what? The fact is, we're not going to open a new one. We're going to open up our previous one for size references. It's very important to know your size references. I used to have a chart. I have to look where it is. It tells you how big things are according to the game. So I'm just going to create here a new collection to kind of keep it separated from our other table right here. And I'm going to import, and we're going to look for FBX, basically is our file format that we just imported. So I'm going to go here to, whoa, what the heck? Shit. File, import FBX. Desk, new table, that. We're going to go to our source, and we are going to think. So now we can see the references of the size. Now some things might be like that big, right? It may be very, very, very large. So you're going to have to scale that down, okay, and even scale that even further down. Let's just actually kind of move it over here and bring it here, and we can just kind of like see in references to these other tables. So can we bring this further down? Yeah, something like that. That's fine. So let's just I'm gonna just bring this to my center for a second. that. Okay. Bring it up a bit. Actually, too high. Yeah, right here. Okay. So again, if you're doing any movements, Control A and apply all transforms. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to do a little bit different than earlier, because now we actually imported this model from the from somewhere else. So we are going to create a draw. Blow up, Control Z that. Make sure. Oh, okay. So Blender kind of crashed. Whatever. So let's go into recovery, last session, recovery, auto save. Okay, so for some reason that did not like whatever I was doing. So anyways, so clicking on that model, I'm going to make sure I save that. Control A, all transforms, making sure your transforms are applied. I'm just going to center this a bit, and Control A, all transforms. Yeah, that should be fine. We will just hide this other model for now, and we're gonna hit new Sollumz RDR2. Okay, and we are gonna make sure you're not select anything, so just click in a blank space, and we're going to create a drawable. Okay, at that point we can give that drawable a name, so I don't know, new table. Okay, so we just called it OSG new table. All right, this here you can you know what, hold on, if I did that, yeah, okay, you know what, I don't think I needed that. Delete that, convert that. Actually, hold on, forgot to do this. OSG new table. Okay, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's totally up to you. So you're going to then convert that to that. Oh, you know what? Actually, we didn't do. We didn't go over texture. So let's Control Z that. So we rename that, and we then we can start to look at texturing this model, right? So right now, as it stands, there is no textures on this model. So we can come up to our cabinet here. I'm going to kind of have a look, and I'm just going to select my model, and I'm going to see what that textures are. Now let me see. Kind of want like a wood type of, you know, actually let's call it, let's do the same there. Okay, you can use anything from the game, so you can find different things to apply for your textures, and bring them, those models inside here. Make sure you find all the extra missing files there. So we're going to come back here, and we're going to click on open up your panel here, and we're going to come down to our shader, and we're going to look for our normal. Okay, create your shader. Okay, so it did go black, and we're going to then boom. Okay, so now we applied the shader. It does. Let me make sure that, of course, forget to do this. Apply that. Okay, so make sure you're saving along the way. And can it come over here to, you're not shading, you want to come over to UV map, okay? You going to then just make sure you come over to this view, because then you can kind of like have a look at this and you can figuring out, you can break this up into chunks. And then you can expand that open. We can come down to our textures here, down to Sollumz texture parameters, and let's just bring this over for a second. So we're looking for the diffuse texture tax AB, okay, and we then going to find that. Where is that, right? So we can kind of like get an idea that, you know what, you're gonna have to play around with some things just to kind of like give it that feel. So come over here and look at that. Does that look okay? Does that need to be increased a little bit? Just had to undo a few things so I can come over here and I kind of get a glance of everything. Something like that, and then I can basically, get closer here. Do I need to change anything here? Yeah, I feel that there's some things probably most likely want to change along the way, so just bring that a tiny bit over there. We can expand that maybe. Actually, you know what? Bring that maybe down to here. We can. It's looking okay so far. Looking like I need to fix these textures as well. You can work off of one texture if you want, one face if you want, and just cube project that, resize it a bit. I feel something around here, and this I can go cube project as well, size that, put that there. Okay, we're gonna then cube project, size there. Okay, so once you've like basically made a decision, does everything look okay to you? I mean, there's some probably little things that I can fix along on the bottom here. right? So I can just come and fix those here. So you can keep on working on that along the way, and then you can like make it however you want. It's your items there. So you want to then come up to your data file, and you want to make sure that your UV map is 0, and you create a color face by a corner in that. Leave in name 1 and hit add. All right, so in my last video I was going over was I was talking about a little bit about vertex painting there particular. So come up to your view shading tools and come over to color. We're going to open up back our Sollumz, and we're going to come and paint. Now this is not a drawable right now, so I need to convert this first into a drawable for RDR2. So we'll come down to our drawables and get to convert that into our drawable. Okay, so at this point we're going to now going to first hide this and make sure we're selected here, and we paint. So now we were able to paint it red. We can back to our thing, hide the model, and now expand our collisions. Okay, so once we have expanded our collisions, we check to see if there's any modifiers under your poly mesh. We check out our color, your UVs, okay, and our colors. Get rid of those, and then we come up to our material tab here. You then want to come over here to your collisions. Actually, before I forget, come over to collisions and then come to your flag presets and apply your flag presets for your BVH. Then come back to polymesh. I can then expand open this. We can just call this so earlier I was creating the collision material, but actually in fact I can just hit convert. So converts the whole material to that particular collision material that I selected. So it's up to you. There's 2 ways of doing this: creating all of your materials or converting them. It's up to you. So once we've done that, we just gonna make sure, double check that all our transforms, they should have been already set to 0. We have our model here, and we select our model and then file and then export that. We going to table. Did I make a folder? I don't remember. Okay. We'll just drop it here. It's fine. Okay. It's export that. That took about 1 second. Why did that take one? Why was that so fast? That's the question I have. All right. So open up your codecs and then locating your stream folder. You're going to basically shit. Okay, so it might have overwritten this Y type. It's fine. Okay. Oh shit, my bad. File and then file import. table, it's red. I never embedded any of the textures, so it's gonna stay red. All right. And then I'm just gonna grab the name for a second, grab that, and I'm gonna say new Y type, new YTD. Okay, we need to make sure we export our textures. The order doesn't really matter which order you've done it, but make sure you have that. So we'll just go new table textures. Okay, so we're going to select that folder, selecting your model and extract. Coming back to your Codex Explorer, you're going to then come up to your YTD, come up to your new table textures and selecting all and hit OK. Save that. Okay. Come over to your file path that where you exported this. So you're gonna come up over here, open up your Y type. So we have the name called OSG New Table, and we're gonna replace that with the book case one. Okay. Then I come up back over to my Codex Explorer. I come into my Y type for my new table, and I'm gonna save that. Okay, so at this point I can just save. I don't need this anymore, and we'll just keep it open for a second. I'll just at this point you want to then restart your server. Oh, actually, before restarting your server, making sure that you grab that name if you want. Okay. And then coming to your objects folder for Spooner, whatever Spooner you're using. We're gonna put your open close with a comma at the end and saving that in there. So it makes it easier. It's gonna be in your Spooner list. Okay, so now once we've done that, we can then restart our server. Okay, I actually noticed I did have a issue along with my recording, so I am now just coming back, and I wanted to, I think some of the textures weren't showing up in the game, so I'm right now applying all my embedded textures. I did say before it's not a good idea, but for some reason it's working, so we're going to export this, and we are going to test this out to see if this works. Again, it's not a great idea to do this all the time, but make sure you export with your Y type and do that. So we're going to come over here to Codex, and I can just quickly import my new export of YDR that I just exported a second ago with embedded textures. So now let's quickly have a look at it. Yes, we can see all the textures inside Codex because it is embedded, but let's see how that looks in game. Let's just make sure we're gonna grab our Y type information, even though we changed and embedded the textures. I'm not sure, maybe things might have changed along the way, so let me find where that is. Quickly close that one off, and yep, there it is. So open that in your text editor software, and just making sure you grab the name of your model and then just replace it on the bottom there. Okay, go ahead and copy all that. Right, and you go back into your folder in your Y type and you replace that information. Interesting. Okay, so after restarting the server, I'm now going to see if this now shows the textures. open up the props, objects, and there's the new table. I spawn it. Yeah, perfect. Now we got the table with the textures. I'm not sure what happened earlier, but it seemed like I had to embed it. So let's just reset rotation. And yes, everything is looking good there. Yeah, not too bad there. So at this point, I would like to thank you guys for watching this video. If you like and subscribe, it'd be great. Thank you very much, and peace out.